Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? I know right now is a very difficult time for a lot of people, so I wanted to put together this video to help keep you guys motivated if you're having a hard time. I know I have days that are ups and downs as well. Not every day is perfect for me. I've had days where I've just been completely unmotivated to do any sort of work whatsoever at all, and all I do is just sleep in bed and read books and watch TikToks. And then I have other days where I film like 5 videos at once and life is going great. If you guys are having any sort of trouble getting motivated and staying positive, I hope that this video is a valuable resource for you and it gives you some tips and tricks and some ideas as to how you can keep yourself motivated during this difficult time. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. So one of the very first things that I found really helped me to kind of like feel a little bit more normal during this troubling time is to actually stay in contact with all my friends. I know we're supposed to be social distancing and staying at home and not going out to hang out with people, but with the help of technology, we've actually been able to FaceTime, play games with our friends, keep in contact, cook, bake, and even like Skype in my whole family of like 15 people at like one time. It has been phenomenal. I don't even remember when the last time I webcammed with anybody. It was probably in middle school, but honestly, within the past month, I have FaceTimed, Skyped, and Zoomed more people than I could have ever imagined in my past life. It's nuts. So with the help of like Skype, FaceTime, Zoom, I've actually been able to keep in touch with all my friends, and it has been great. On days, especially when I feel like I'm really lonely, I just give them a call and we kind of chat for a little bit, whether it's like 5 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours. It just makes me feel like I'm still surrounded by people. So I highly recommend that you guys give that a try, especially if you're living by yourself and you feel like you have no sort of social interaction. Call up your friends and chat with them. I guarantee you that even your other friends that are also living by themselves feel the exact same way. So together you guys can keep yourselves feeling positive and motivated. If you guys are working in an office and suddenly find yourself stuck at home and it's really quiet and it makes you feel super anxious because whenever you're in an office there's always like background noise, the number one thing I can recommend doing is having some sort of background noise on at any given time. I know right now, especially for Toronto, all of our hydro and electricity is priced at off-peak hours, which means it's not expensive during the day, although electricity is expensive to begin with, so just don't overuse it if you don't need to. But if you can always have music playing in the background, the radio going, or some sort of sitcom on the television. I find that helps really keeps like that background ambience noise there, so it doesn't feel like I'm completely alone. We also actually do that for Kobe. Whenever we leave the house, we leave the radio or Google Music playing in the background, so it feels like he has somebody else there with them and it's not complete silence. Highly recommend trying the exact same thing for yourself. Personally, for me, I can't have music going because I get sucked into the rhythm and the beat of it and I start singing to it. So what I actually do is I like to turn on a sitcom or an old TV show that I've watched many times before, such as like Friends or Family Guy, and just leave it running in the background so I don't have to pay attention to it. If you have a current show running that you're like really following right now, chances are you're gonna get hooked onto that and you're not gonna be able to focus on doing other things that you need to do. So don't watch anything that you know you're really excited to watch. Just turn on something that's old that you've watched before and just let that run so you can kind of feel like you're being surrounded by noise all over again. Tip number 3 that I'm gonna recommend to you guys is to keep a routine. A routine is absolutely everything. When you guys were still working from home, I guarantee that you probably had a routine. You woke up at a certain time every single day, you brushed your teeth, you got dressed, you got into the office, did whatever you had to do, got your coffee, lunch, came back home and had a certain routine at nighttime. Try your best to keep the exact same routine if you can. If you're breaking that routine, that's where you kind of like lose all sense of normalcy, and that's when you start to get really stressed and unmotivated. I would recommend wake up in the morning at the exact same time as you usually do. Sleep in a little bit. If your commute's usually like 2 hours to get into work, you have some time to catch up on that sleep now, but still wake up at the exact same time and make sure you're at your desk ready to go and getting your work done at the exact same time you probably would if you were still going into an office. To go along with routine, I'd also highly recommend getting yourself dressed as well as possible. Pretend that you're going into the office and you want to feel presentable. If you're spending the day in like really comfy clothes like sweats or pajamas, chances are your overall attitude is just to be really relaxed and like low-key and lackadaisical as well. If you guys have a day where you need to get a lot of work done, please put on your most uncomfortable office pants or dress or skirt. I promise you, just putting those on kind of helps to like really set the tone and will make you feel like you're back in the office all over again, even though you're working from home. And trust me, you're gonna get so much work done when you're dressed appropriately for an office setting, as opposed to if you're just like wearing pajamas and lounging around the house all day. There's something weird about clothing. It always has this like psychological effect on you. So try not to stay in your bummy pajamas and sweats all day long. Otherwise, you're gonna have that attitude and that mentality going out throughout your day when you're trying to do work. My next tip is to actually plan out your meals. This is one of the most important things ever. For the first week or so, when I started working from home over 2 years ago, I would snack on anything and everything. I had the worst diet. I didn't have lunches. I didn't have breakfast. I ate dinner at like 11 o'clock at night. I would have breakfast at like 2 in the afternoon. It just threw me off completely. Like I said, you want to make sure you're maintaining the exact same routine as you had before. So do this also with your meals. If you need to take a break and cook lunch, you have the luxury of doing that because you're working from home right now. And that's going to give you a breather from the work that you're doing throughout the day. So definitely allow yourself to do that. Now, if you have a very busy day, you can always pack your lunch the night before as if you were going into the office and just have it ready to go the next day. So you can just whip it out, throw it in the microwave, or prep it whatever way you need to, and then eat it. But I would highly recommend planning out your meals and making sure you can carve out time during your day to eat them at the appropriate time so you still maintain a sort of sense of normalcy and routine to your lifestyle. At the same time, please try to eat healthy. It can get very tempting to snack on junk food when you're at home. All of your food that you really enjoy that's not necessarily the most healthiest for you is so close in proximity and easily accessed that I have a really hard time steering away from it and saying no. Whereas when I'm in the office, I'm like, oh, do we really want to spend $3 to buy a bag of chips? No, I don't, so I'm not going to do it. Whereas when I'm at home, I'm like, it's on the counter. I'll just have a couple flakes. So it doesn't work like that. Try your hardest whenever you can in your grocery shopping to not pick up junk food because you know that if you're gonna be surrounded by it, you're gonna pick it up and eat it. So just try to get healthy foods. I would recommend snacking on like baby carrots and dip, creating yourself smoothies, that sort of thing. So if you ever fall off track on your meals, at least you're still eating relatively healthy. This next one is actually very important, and it is to take a break. When I first started working from home, it felt weird. I would work at like 9 o'clock in the morning till 10, 11 o'clock at night. I would just work all day long. Especially when you're working for yourself, you just feel so accountable for all the work that you do that you just don't stop. So it's really important to set breaks in your day. I would even recommend figuring out your start time and your end time. Like I said, keep a routine. If you go into work at 9 o'clock and you usually get off by 5, try to do the exact same thing when you're working from home. Don't bring your work home when you don't need to. Obviously, in this case, your work is at home, but stop it at a certain time and give yourself a break so you can get back to your normal life. Your life should not consume your work 24/7, and your work should not consume your life in and of itself. So try to make sure you guys are scheduling yourselves breaks. And like I said, you can use your breaks such as making lunch as like an hour where you set aside to just cook your food and prep it because you have the luxury of doing that from your home. But make sure you give yourself enough breaks so that you're not working through the whole day and getting super tired from it because nobody is productive when they're tired. So give yourself some breaks. Now, in order to keep yourself accountable for how much work you're doing throughout the day, I highly recommend setting yourself goals. Your goals don't have to be anything fancy or lofty. They can be very basic things such as achieving inbox zero, which is cleaning out your inbox and making sure you've answered all the emails. Your goals could even be like respond back to 12 emails by the end of the day. Just try to set yourself goals that you know are attainable so that at the end of the day, you know that you've gotten some work done. You don't want to just mindlessly go into working and not knowing what you need to do because this will help provide you with a roadmap as to what you need to do to finish all the work that you need to accomplish by the end of the day. I also find that it's very important to reward yourself. And when I say reward yourself, I don't mean like just giving you a pat on the back, but recognize the hard work that you're doing. If you're doing something that's going to take 5 hours to do research, allow yourself to feel gratitude for that by the end of the day. A lot of the times we're constantly chasing the next milestone, the next initiative that we don't take the time to reward ourselves or acknowledge any of our accomplishments. And I think that it's really important that you do that because nobody's going to do that for you except for yourself, especially when you're working from home. So if you complete a really tough task, take the time to reward yourself. Pour yourself a glass of wine if you'd like. Take an extra longer break. Have a little snack. Whatever you want to do, reward yourself, and it is a-okay for you to do that. One of the really important ones that I kind of stressed on earlier is to set a time to stop working. It's so easy to overwork yourself when you're working from home because you're working in a comfortable environment and you don't have that like line that cuts off when I need to go home from work. You don't have to plan out how long it's going to take you to commute. You can just literally get up from your computer and walk over to your fridge and you're like, I'm done. But the problem with doing that is that you actually end up overworking yourself and you don't allow yourself to have a work and home separation. So it's really important to pick a time every single day to stop working, tell yourself to put it all away and to relax and enjoy normal life. And that's also really important too because now that we're working from home, sometimes employers may get the wrong impression and assume that they can contact you at any time of the day. You don't want to set the expectation that if someone sends you an email at 11 o'clock at night, you're going to be answering it right away. Unless it's already in your contract as what you need to offer your employer, just because you're working from home does not mean you're easily accessible at any hours of the day. Set strict guidelines as to when work finishes and when life starts again. And one of the very last things that I think is actually one of the most important to making sure that you're staying motivated when you're working from home is to ensure that you have enough time to adjust both mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, to all the changes that are happening in your life right now. It is a very hard time for a lot of us, and it takes a long time to process this. A lot of us don't understand what it feels like to work from home. It took me almost an entire year to fully have a grounded process as to how I would work from home when I first started doing this 2 years ago, and I can fully understand the anguish, the stress that everybody else is feeling right now from trying to adjust from working in an office to working from home. So give yourself the time to adjust and forgive yourself as well. There are definitely going to be days where you're unmotivated. There's definitely going to be days when you don't get any sort of work done, and then there's going to be days where you get all the work done and more. And I still experience that even now in my 3rd year of working from home. So please do not ever beat yourself up over it. You're worth more than that, and it takes an adjustment. For the longest time you were working in an office and that's what you were used to, and now you're thrown into the world of being forced to work from home and you're keeping yourself accountable for things, that it's really hard to adjust. So like I said, just allow yourself the time to adjust to it in all the ways that you need. Don't beat yourself up over it. And once you have realized what your routine and what sort of ways you need to motivate yourself, you're gonna start performing so much better at a higher caliber, and you're gonna be really happy with your results. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found some useful tips to keeping yourself motivated during this difficult time. I know a lot of us are going to be struggling with both balancing work from home, taking care of other dependents, and making sure that the finances is still lining up so that you can pay for all your bills. My heart goes out to all of you guys. I know it is a very difficult and troubling time right now, but we're going to get through this together and things are going to get better. There is always a silver lining to everything, and whatever goes down always needs to come up. So eventually we're going to get through this and things will go back to normal. In the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it really helpful. If you guys have any other sorts of tips and tricks as to how you like to stay motivated when you're working from home, please share in the comments down below with all the other viewers as well so they can have some added knowledge. And if you guys found any of these useful and helping you, let me know which one was your favorite. I would love to hear which one worked best for you. Otherwise, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Stay safe and healthy, guys. Bye!